Okay, I'm going to talk about my introduction into drone photography. Kind of just my story into it and how it didn't pan out, hasn't panned out exactly like planned for good and bad. I actually thought about doing drone photos years ago. It was before the pandemic. I can't remember. I did a poll on my Facebook page about I want to add something to my sessions. It's either going to be video or drone, and which would you guys rather have? And the overwhelming majority voted for video, and so I kind of looked at going that route and did it for a little bit and just decided it just wasn't for me. And then I don't know what sparked me to come back around to drone photography this last year or so, but I decided I was going to do it. And obviously, and everyone should know that to do it as a business, you have to have a specific kind of drone pilot license, and you have to take a test in order to do that. So I had to study for the test and take the test and pass that, and then certify register my drone. Obviously, to buy a drone, I didn't even have one. I had never even used one up until the point that I got my fancy drone in the mail, which is a little nutty, but I don't know, I just had it in my head that this is what I was going to do. So anyways, went through all those steps, got my drone, covered all the rules and requirements and everything that you need to do with drone photography, and got started. And originally I was trying to look for inspiration photos, like who are some other photographers who shoot families or maternity and they use drones in their session, and like maybe I can learn things from them. To this day, I still could not find a photographer who does it as, like a main thing. I follow a couple photographers overseas, and I think I saw one post a couple of pictures, maternity pictures with a drone that she recently got, but it's not like their niche or something that they do on a regular basis. So I was wondering why these drones have been around for a long time, and there's fairly good quality ones, and why has this not become more popular? And I've learned a lot of the reasons why that's the case. And a lot of them are restriction reasons. So like I said, in order to fly one as a business, you have to have a drone pilot license, which takes money, it takes time, and a lot that just shies away a lot of people already. But then also there's location restrictions. So like in the state of Nebraska, I can't fly a drone. Nobody actually can technically fly a drone in Nebraska state parks. I cannot fly them in national parks. I cannot fly them within 5 miles of the airport. So there's lots of different restrictions on where you can fly them and when you can fly them, and that's a tricky thing to navigate as well, and just keeping track of all that stuff is a little daunting. So another one that is a restriction is the quality of the drone photos. So originally drones weren't made for professional photography, for portraits at least. They were made for other reasons, and so the cameras on them were good for what they needed to be good for, but not so great in the portrait realm. So just recently, in the last couple of years, I think they have really stepped up their game as far as getting into like really good detail and having good quality and good sensors and everything. So that was another restriction I think that has been keeping people away from it. But I think the biggest reason, and what I found using a drone, is that it is so hard. It is hard for so many reasons. My drone in particular, I can't speak to everyone's, but it's kind of like shooting on film again, because after you take the picture, it's not like a digital camera where it'll pop up your photo right away and you can kind of see it and analyze it and tweak it if you want to. It goes into like an album, and then you would actually have to leave your shooting mode of the drone to look at the album and then go back to shooting mode, and it's really tedious, and you don't have time for that. Don't have time for that in many reasons, but for one of the main reasons is that drone batteries die in like 20 minutes. So you have to be fast. You have to execute your ideas. You have to hope that everybody cooperates. You have to hope that the wind isn't really strong and pushing your drone around, which I've had happen, and that makes it really hard too. You have to just be on your game. You have to hope that what you think the photos are going to look like from the air actually is what they look like. And there's so many moving pieces, and you have this literal time ticking until this battery runs out. And yes, I have extra batteries, but still, just the whole process, it's intense, honestly. And I don't know, it's such a challenge. And also on the directing front, I'm directing people to do these specific poses or do these things, and I might be far enough away because I don't want to be in the shot that they can't hear me, so that's tricky. And then also just, I can't really see what they're doing very well. So like they're so small in my little drone camera viewer, I can't see where their eyes are looking, and I can't see, you know, if they're making kind of a weird face. I can't see like all the little teeny details that I would tweak if I was taking a photo of them and they were standing right in front of me. When I direct them to pose, if we're doing an actual pose, which is less common in drone photography, I have to, you know, like animate it really big, you know, or stand right beside them and then step out of the frame, or, you know, yell it or whatever, because of just the logistics of having photos with drones. So that's another difficulty with doing it. I would say that right now I'm at the point that if I have my regular camera and I go to a session, the photos I end up with from that session, I would say are 75 to 90% of what I wanted to happen with that session. Generally, obviously you always have a couple, you know, where the kid cries the whole time or whatever, but most of the time I say 75 to 90% success rate with my camera. With my drone, 10 to 20%. And like 20% would be a really good day, right? And part of it is a big part of it is user error, right? Like I think something's going to work and then it doesn't, or I didn't change the setting that I was supposed to because I forgot. You know, everything on a drone works differently than it does on my camera, and I forgot to change this one setting, or I haven't even learned about that setting yet because I haven't watched that one YouTube video from like the 2 people who even cover this drone in the settings. And I mean, there are just so many things. But that's why, I mean, like 10 to 20%, like I said, is kind of like my success rate on my drone photos so far. And I hope, again, that will only rise as I get better at it and I get a better idea of where to shoot and what it's going to look like and consistency and everything. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there are any other reasons why. Oh, okay. So like I said before, there's no examples for me to look at. The only drone photos I can find are like fashion pictures of one person or wedding photos, which max have like 2 people in them generally. Every now and then I'll find something with a couple more people, and that's not either wedding or fashion, but it's super rare. So like coming up with the ideas of what I want to shoot and what is possible are mostly just coming from like my imagination. Like, what if we try this? And nope, that totally tanked. What if we try this? Oh, that was even better than I thought. What if we do this one? Nope, you know, and it's just trial and error and trial and error. And so that's a huge one. And then obviously location wise too, what something looks like from the ground is completely different than what it looks like from the air. So at our new land, we have this beautiful bright red sumac that is so beautiful from the ground. And I thought, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to take my drone up there and you're going to get this red sumac all around. Nope, doesn't look like that from the air. You can barely see the leaves from the air. It's like basically looking at dead branches. It's crazy. So all these different things, like I said, it just may have made it so incredibly hard. However, it's unlike anything I've done before, and it takes me back to being an artist instead of a scientist, I think, because, and I've told a couple people this too, using my camera at this point, since I've been doing it so long, I mean, I've had a camera in my hand for over 20 years now, it's become so much more of a science. You know, I know this location looks good in this light, looking this direction, with these settings, with these types of people, these are the poses I want, this is, you know, how I'm going to direct them. And it's kind of like a checking boxes. And not that there's anything wrong with that as far as the outcome, but the creativity and the artistic aspect of it has been lost a lot for me. And so taking it to this drone level where so much of it just has to come from my imagination is incredible. And like that anticipation of not knowing what the photos are going to look like until I pull them up on my computer. And it's just, I just absolutely love it. And it's just been a completely new world for me. And yes, it has been so hard. And I've been so grateful for all the people who have let me practice and been so patient with me as I've screwed things up and missed photos and all these things. But it's just, I don't know, I feel like the end result, that 10%, that 20% of those photos are like such a gift and have such a wow factor that the photos from the ground don't have. So I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep working through all my flops. I'm going to keep looking for those epic shots and just crossing my fingers and hoping and learning and practicing. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the photos that you've seen so far. And I mean, I definitely have to reel myself back on how many I post, because I feel like I'm posting too much and I'm like too excited. I'm like, nobody's this excited about it. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts, feel free to ask me. And like I'm incorporating drone photos into all of my full or signature sessions now. So if we're outside and we either have a family or a maternity session, drone photos and video is going to be taken during the session. So you get to have both perspectives and both angles, and I'm really excited about that. So anyways, that's my spiel. I went on for a long time. I apologize. Have a great day.